Kau yang mesti gitu, UFNS dum sumus. Kau yang mesti gitu, UFNS dum sumus. Pos secundam juventutem, pos molestam selectutem.
Hi, I'm Fauzan, the Honor Student Representative from Institut Teknologi Bandung, and this is my idea for an independent Indonesia. Infrastructure is the foundation of any economy, and for Indonesia it's no different. We are currently investing 11% of our GDP only for the construction of infrastructure all across Indonesia. And in 2011, we've also created an acceleration program called MP3EI, created for the proliferation of infrastructure development all across the islands of Indonesia. Sadly, given that, Indonesia still ranks 78 out of 144 countries in terms of global competitiveness of infrastructure. This is because this index is not only scored in how much we invest in our infrastructure, but also how much we invest in its quality. And the best definition of quality is when we have infrastructure that stands for as long as possible. One of the root reasons why we still don't have long-lasting infrastructures is because that our national standards from infrastructure still doesn't enforce a good form of maintenance and inspection systems for infrastructures. We still only enforce visual and manual inspections from the human eye. An effective alternative to infrastructure inspections used in many developed countries today is called structural health monitoring systems. Structural health monitoring is a system in which we use an array of sensors in which we place in critical parts of infrastructures, after which these sensors can detect whether or not these parts of infrastructures have been damaged or have been cracked. Because these sensors are computerized and always on, we will have continuous, accurate and also thorough results of inspections for any infrastructure that uses structural health monitoring. There are two major obstacles in implementing structural health monitoring systems in Indonesia. Number one is the big initial cost at the very beginning. Obstacle number two is that we're not used to implementing structural health monitoring systems yet. In order to overcome those two obstacles, I recommend a series of 4 steps in order for Indonesia to achieve a cheap and also standardized system of structural health monitoring. Number 1 is to raise awareness regarding structural health monitoring system. Now, who can contribute to raising awareness in society? Of course, the most important actors are the students in universities, in which we can make papers and also researches, like what I'm doing right now, in order to instill awareness to the society regarding how important structural health monitoring systems are. Step number 2 is to research and develop as much cheaper and also easier ways to implement structural health monitoring systems in Indonesia. The current implementation of structural health monitoring systems, like I said before, is very expensive. But with research and development, we can reduce the cost of each sensor significantly. Back then in US, the University of Illinois have reduced $15,000 worth of sensors up to $200 sensors. Now, this is exactly what we need and what the government needs to endorse in order for us to create more cheaper sensors in order for us to implement structural health monitoring systems. Now, currently, we only invest in 0.08 of our GDP in research and development. Indonesia needs to invest a lot more in research and development in order for us to have cheaper and better technologies of structural health monitoring systems. Step number 3 is to implement structural health monitoring itself. Why is this important? To overcome obstacle number 2, which is the inhabituation of implementing structural health monitoring systems. Currently, we are still used to conventional methods and manual methods of inspections. But with more implementation of structural health monitoring systems, like the Suramadu Bridge, we can habituate our contractors and also the people who are involved in projects to be more used to structural health monitoring implementation. Step number 4 is to formulate and then legalize a national standard, or SNE, regarding the implementation of structural health monitoring systems in Indonesia. Now, why is this step important? It's because it is the most national sustainable way to make sure that every infrastructure project implements a good form of structural health monitoring systems. Without complying to SNE, no contractors would be allowed to build within the vicinities in which that particular SNE is legalized. Of course, these 4 steps cannot be conducted in the short term. These 4 steps must be conducted by Indonesia continuously, repeatedly, and also simultaneously. A clock would not work if all the cogs don't turn together. So I hope that with this, everyone will take their part in reaching an independent Indonesia.
Juvenes dum sumus, os secundam juventutem, os molestam senectutem. Nos habebitur